Okay, looks like we are alive. We gotta find a decent drawing put in here. Glanced at a few before logging in here. We got tanks as usual, goofy ones, and there's one particular tank here that has my interest. This is Billy Bob tank up here. I don't know. I'm feeling it. We'll see. And then what else do we have here? Let me look at some of these sketches. Nope. This could do. Got a little, you know that whole Inktober thing where you like ink something every day in October? I decided to just do one. And by decided, I mean I did one and then I didn't do any more. So there it is. And then finished off this sketchbook. This was the last page on this one. More chicken soldiers. Doing some different time periods here. Because there's more than one genre of chicken soldier. Okay, so that's that. I'm sure I have other drawings here. I've got the repository just chock full of them. But, excuse me. One at a time. One at a time. All right, well, let's get started. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, as they say. I don't know where that line first came from, but I heard it from the Craftsman, which if you have not seen the Craftsman channel, you need to go see that. All things molding, casting, 3D printing, animating, and just generally being hilarious. So that's my jam. All right, we got one tank. We got us a tank. Let's pull that out, and then let's do another tank. I'm not going to worry too much about getting these perfect. I think we'll deal with that once we decide which one to paint, right? If we want to trim up the edges and everything, we can do that. But I think there's not a lot of sense in going the whole 9 yards and getting these perfect silhouettes and everything all worked out. I mean, it's a somewhat therapeutic approach, I guess, if you want to just kind of mindlessly just make some things happen and make them happen to a well, let's say relatively finished degree. That is, you're actually thinking about the silhouettes when you're doing that. But problem is you can get bogged down in the minutia and miss the big picture and lose that speed. Hey, you know what though? All this talk about AI art. This is one thing I would not mind having AI do. And I bet it's probably already out there and I'm just too lazy to find it. So then I also need an AI that can go find the AI tools that I need for to be happy. obviously. More AI tools are the only way to be happy. That's misinformation. My apologies. It's intentional. It's called satire. Okay. Just kicking it off on the right foot tonight. Sorry if you didn't notice, I'm a little grumpy and I can't really explain it. Well, I could explain it. I mean, there's no real good explanation, but basically I've been tired enough that I'm falling asleep every time I sit down. And the last time I fell asleep was an hour ago when I was about to start this stream. And then I woke up grumpy. Woke up on the wrong side of the whatever it was that I fell asleep on. I don't even remember. Okay. I'll get the colonel in there. Yes, colonel. Let's see. Well, it's got some comedic potential there. Chicken, the colonel. Get it? You know, chicken. Colonel Sanders. Okay, all right. Barely started and I can already see myself out the room. Okay, next group. These boys. Get the general up in here. Got a little carried away with this smokiness. Should have thought about that a little bit more before I, put the pen to the paper. That's the thing with ink. You're supposed to think before you do anything. And I sometimes just forget to do that. What do we got here? The big guy. Okay, I like this guy right here. Maybe we'll, who knows what we'll do with this guy? Who knows? Maybe we'll keep that, we'll throw that grass in there too. He likes grass. That could be misconstrued, but given the pipe and everything, I don't think that's too far-fetched. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna get this Billy Bob character right here. My kids have this this little tiny doll that they call Billy Bob. It's like a little doll with suspenders. Like a, what do they call it? Overalls. Giant head with like a little dollop for hair on top, you know. Billy Bob. Okay. I think that'll do it. I don't think really any of these other ones. You know, this one maybe, I think I'm relating these two designs here. This one is, it's got I think the overall form that can give us a decent gesture. All right, so then here we go. Here's all of our fellas, and we're going to take all of these and set them to multiply. Okay, just make a big mess. That's how we do it. All right, and we're going to just start at the top, I think, and we'll move them around. Get them aligned. So, by default, I believe this is now the default. All these things change, but the Photoshop option to grab something is usually set right up here. It's auto select layer, right? I suppose I could turn that back on. But I personally cannot stand that. I'm perhaps a creature of habit, and I do the control click. That way I don't accidentally click something that I did not intend to. You know, move things around accidentally. But you know what? It happens. It's all a part of the experience. Alright, we got the kernel up there. We got the Squid Tanks. This guy right there. That guy right there. This guy there. Okay, got some things to work from here. I feel like this could end up being like some kind of a Norman Rockwell-esque propaganda poster, you know, with like, you got the different generals all smoking their pipes and staring off into the distance thinking about their strategies, and you got the boys storming the beaches, you know, and like gotta put it all together in one kind of, maybe the smoke from the pipe ends up being like a plume of smoke from the action. If only we knew an artist crazy enough to do it. Then we got Squid Tanks. I like these boys. Look at this. So, one of the artists that I really like and follow, Satoshi Matsuura. He, I may be saying that wrong. I'm going to go look it up because I want to make sure that I'm saying his name right. He did a little Squid Tank here recently. That made me very happy. Satoshi Matsuura. Yep. Octopus. Octopuses are not squids. I'll pull this over. I'll show you right there. Nice one. I like that. I like how I went really tall with it. And you got like a little face here, and then like maybe that's like the eyeball or something, but it's like that's like the cannon. Dig it. Okay. So these were some Squid Tank designs right here. You know what? We're just gonna do it from the heart. We're just gonna paint on top of everything. We're gonna forget all the trappings of the layer stack and what you're supposed to do, and we're just gonna paint because I'm too grumpy to follow any protocol. Okay. Hold on. Close that out there. There we go. Alright, we'll get this thing rolling. And as always, you know, if there's any questions, thoughts, want to throw into the chat, all ears. But generally speaking, we're going to make some goofy stuff tonight. That's the plan. We gotta bring up the mood somehow. Should probably look up, you know, a squid to see what they look like, or an octopus. This I think I just did like a, you know, like there'd be like an eye down here or whatever, and so maybe we could turn that into like a light or some kind of a vent or something, you know. think generally speaking, we'll just make these kind of like roundy, shiny, gross looking forms. We'll throw some like spots and weird stuff on there. Kind of give it a texture. Throw some suckers here down on the tread. And you know, obviously this is a theme that I have done before. I'm still exploring it, right? Still trying to figure out excuse me, what would be you know, the cool, most fun way to do it, I guess. Should we have more tentacles around? I don't know if there should be like a tentacle mess, or if we should just keep it to that kind of like tank-like form. I'm thinking tank-like. Keep it tanky. Okay. Now let's see. Maybe we go over to this one. This was this one was based off of a Midjourney AI prompt, and then you know, what I've found kind of interesting is to take these you know, these ideas, especially ones that I've already explored, throw them into the AI, see how it interprets it. Throw different kind of genres, styles, and sometimes even like emotional type prompts. Like I've started to just throw in things that have nothing to do with anything. Like the one I did, what was it? It was like a, you know, a happy little tank being a good sport about the you know, the impending apocalypse or something like that. You know, like you just throw in these kind of prompts that start to that hopefully will pull other kinds of sources of inspiration and data that is not as contrived or like expected, I guess, you know. And so that's the idea with that. So anyway, then you get these interesting things. Sometimes you just get garbage, but I'm always looking for something, you know, like, okay, I could see, you know, being able to use this or that or the other thing, right? And so this one was some kind of squid prompt. And with that particular version, there's different versions of like training sets that these things have worked from. It would always end up with these kind of circles, you know, just like it would incorporate that into the design, you know. And okay, I'm seeing it now. But you know, I don't like. On one hand, it could come up with some cool shapes, but like that alone is not a character, right? And I think we've got to get this from like, all right, how do we go from say an idea that has some interesting associated shapes to like, now it's cute and relatable and, you know, funny. It's not just a motif, if that makes sense. You know? All right, so 'tis the question for this guy. I did like this kind of idea of like this little cannon on top, a little eyeball type thing, you know, kind of like a FLIR ball type thing, but then it's got the cannon right attached to it. Sometimes you'll see these tanks that have like a cover, like a canvas cover over the joints, and so we could kind of exploit that to our advantage. And then I think we need to redesign some of this to feel more octopus-like. And so I'm going to pull up some octopus reference. There is a kind of like flow to the kind of the face head, if you like, you want to call it that. I don't even know what octopus anatomy is all about, you know. Well, you see it in the design of like the Davy Jones type thing in Pirates of the Caribbean. So if you have, let's see, if we go here, let's see, like so. And then we got this kind of ball up top. We've kind of consolidated it into one, so it's more like a Cyclops type thing. But we'll see if we can get away with that. This all kind of comes back. We'll have this kind of come back into that shape there. So there will be some degree of figuring out what's tanky, what is octopus-like. That's like the little breathing hole down there for the big guy. All right, and then we'll go. Let me just grab some white as an eraser, because I don't like how heavy that's getting in there. Clean this baby up. All that, you can go. You can go. I kind of like this form. We'll see. We'll see what we'll do with that. Let's clean some of that up in there. All right, let's see. I think it's got to have this like sweep going on. And then I think we could probably do kind of waves. And even if we have like little technical fiddly bits in there, as they say, then I think it can work. I mean, even if these are like, I don't know, you can like square these things off, so they're more tank-like. I'm not there yet. See, I think that's much cleaner. And then, do we still have this protrude out? No, I don't think so. I think we're just gonna have to move that whole thing, or move or remove. But we'll do this. We'll take it like so, and we'll just move that to wherever we want it, if we want it. We'll go with that for now. So part of the trick of this in general with Fantastic Tanks is figuring out the mechanics, of how is this part going to be able to rotate? Where is the rotating feature? Oh, this is grieving me. Okay. Put that way back. So, okay, on our octopus, we would have like eyes right here ish. So I'm gonna try something. Let's go here, and we'll just erase a good portion of this, and then use it as like an eyeball. And it would be kind of up on top there. And then it's got like a making a mess. Making it twice. All right, and then it's got a kind of a connection there. Those come together. Let's give that a little bit more oomph, as they say. I think this shape is going to be important here. Let's hide that other cannon. I like it, but you know what? I just don't know how we're going to get it in there. Not quite yet. Just hoping the opportunity will present itself. Okay. Okay, and then we need to make these things not eyeballs, because it kind of spoils the effect. They have to be eyeballs without being eyeballs. Typical kind of art challenge. And actually, I think this whole assembly could be smaller. I think maybe we'll add more tentacles. Dooby-doo. Nah. Trying too hard. Let's just bring this down. We'll just go straight down like this. I'm losing a lot of that original flavor that I had before. You know, the flow. We're getting bogged down with this guy. Trying to make a thing work. Maybe it was not meant to be. Never give up on your dreams. You want to have a octopus tank. No one's going to build it for you. You're just going to have to make it. Alright, let's turn these into like technical greebles of some sort. And we'll maybe make them a little asymmetrical here. So we can just real quickly establish a top plane there. That's no problemo there. Throw a little white on there. We want to have that be separate. These little pipes here, that's the idea, is get these Pipes going up and over, so we'll get that little silhouette going there. And then, of course, you can put, kind of a light getting caught in the valleys, in the pits and peaks. Oh, actually, we can't have this. This has got to go. These have got to like curve in and go into some component there, because this is where our turret separates. Maybe have this off to the side here. So this thing right here, I want to figure out a more interesting way, do these like kind of circle motifs, but like I kind of get bored with them, if I'm being honest. They need more. I'll kind of default to throwing like a grate in there, like that. It's like, okay, well, it's got a purpose then, I guess. It's some kind of exhaust thingy-mo-jiggy. However, you can only have so many round exhaust thingy-mo-jiggies that seem to be over-engineered with all this extra functionality, like all these form changes and greebles and stuff like that. The idea is that there's something underneath the surface there that's requiring the form to change. That you've got like some kind of mechanical engine or something in there that the shell has to conform to, right? Now the problem with that, particularly here, is like, why would you have this giant cowling around this little vent? There we go, kind of like that. A little form change there. Not that everything has to be like super form-fitting, but if it's got too much play between these parts, unless it's like a aircraft or something where I don't know, or some kind of reason for the design to have a huge gap like that, it's just going to read as like incorrect. You just wouldn't waste that much space for nothing, right? So So I don't know, maybe we gotta put little greebles in there that are implying that, hey, you know, there's more machinery here that needs to be needs a home. So we crammed it in here between the fiddly bit and the spacely sprockets. Fiddly bits and spacely sprockets. What's this guy talking about? Should these have little suckers on them too? Um, oh, this is the part where we start to make it a little more tanky. That's fine right there. So the cannon could be like a, like a cannon. Old school. That'd be kind of sea themed. Nothing new though. We explored that on previous designs. And gloss that cannon right up. Okay. So we got a squid tank. What next? Oh, we got Billy Bob. All right, Billy Bob. We get that blue in there for the trousers. Is that what they call those? Overalls. Are overalls considered trousers? I don't know. Someone's got to educate me. I'm not a overall fashionista. I don't know these things. Okay. Let's see. We'll have to work on the form bit here. Let's go with a drab. The rest. Kind of like the little hat thing, but I don't know. It was supposed to be like a like a farmer's hat, but it didn't really work out. Doesn't really work with the tank theme. I mean, it's silly looking. I mean, I'll give it some points there, but it needs more. I think the idea with this, these were supposed to be like cheeks. You know? And then you got this cannon that can slide back and forth. That's, you know, basically that's like the wheat thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that. So, yeah, maybe we'll have some smoke coming out of it. Well, then it looks like he's smoking. Can't have that. This is YouTube. No smoking allowed. You can have all manner of all things, but now this content is deemed inappropriate. All right, let's get this blocked in here. We're gonna need, I think we're gonna need that blue again. I think we'll go nice and bright this time. Right in here. There we go. Get that little drum. I think we'll probably have this be the same color, kind of echo that motif. And then, yeah, we'll just carry it right on through here. All right, Billy Bob's on a roll. We get this, we brighten up the overalls, or keep them nice and worn out. I say we brighten them up. Then we have the opportunity to come in, wear them, get it, wear them, put metal weathering, wear and tear on them. All right. Excuse me. All right. I think we need to take an opportunity to look at the form, see what's working, see what's not. So, like, you know, the whole idea is that this is like this, you know, kind of overweight fella at a barbecue. He's bringing this keg or something. This is fuel tank, but he's gonna hold it off to the side like he's, you know. Yeah, you know, whatever. I don't even know what I was saying there, but okay. So he's got that. And then he's got the cannon is supposed to be like a straw, you know, in his mouth. You know, the literal, the plant, the straw, not like the manufactured plastic or paper alternative straw type thing. These shapes, so I like the head being like kind of round and like derpy looking, but like I think that this profile over here may be more interesting. This almost gives me like elephant vibes. Whatever that means, elephant vibes. All right, so then I'm gonna make this like probably more of a block, I think. we'll try to go for this form up here. So like, we'll bring that back right up. So, and maybe this, as far as the anthropomorphization, will make it appear a little bit more like he's got no neck, you know? Like it just goes right from here straight down. And then I do have like this little bump on the front for the forehead. I don't know if is that any good? Do we prefer that shape? Or do we prefer that kind of shape? I do kind of like that. In fact, we could do, well, we already have one tank that's got the hat, you know, but we could do a little hat. That shape there. It'd be a little more squared off than the other one. Should we go taller? And where should this thing, this little eye port be? You know, I've got it, I have it there, but it might make, you know, more sense lower or something. I don't know. I find that things tend to look sillier, less serious, more, let's just say, not quite as intelligent when you put the eyes really low and wide. So like if these were eyes here, he just looks kind of like he's just not paying attention to anything, you know? And I think, you know, there's a reason for that, but like say we put him really close like this, then he's looking like he's looking forward. Laser focus. There's a certain intensity, and you know, the idea being that you know, most predators, their eyes are closer together and pointed forward because they focus on their prey, whereas more prey animals tend to have their eyes pointed out to have a wider field of view to watch out for predators, right? But then it tends to build this kind of associative relationship in our mind where we view them as aware and strong and aggressive, and you know, this is the actor. You know, the predator is the one that is calling the shots and forcing the play, right? And then the prey is just trying to eat some grass and escape being eaten. So I think that isn't, I guess it's explanation enough. It may be the dumbest thing ever. Like, you know, I think a lot of these things we come up with these like explanations for, like, and that's why when you design something you put the eyes in the whatever position. And maybe that's just all speculation. But you know what? Sounds good. So makes sense. Makes sense enough to act on. I'm sorry if I offended all of the wide-eyed people in the world. We're just talking about design here. That's it. Don't be hurt. Well, that's an encouraging encouraging way to approach that. Don't be hurt. Just, you know, just don't be hurt. Okay. Throw that shadow on there. All right, I think we need to go a little darker with these values. You know, I've got this like little grate on the side here. Maybe we should just get rid of that. I like the idea of just having kind of like these ear thing. You know, that kind of hat. You flip the ears up. What do you call those? Anyway, one of those. So I like that as a design motif. Look at these buckles kind of integrated as some sort of other element other than being obviously a buckle. And then I think we'll have to have little claspy things for that. Hold that tank on the side there. All right, maybe we should turn this into a hatch of some kind here. So, come down. Cast a little shadow there. What's he got on his forehead? I don't know. Sticky note. I don't know what's going on here. I gotta figure out that. You know, design wise, what is that thing? Is that just the shape right now? Could be another keg. Looking at the chat, Tentacle Tank, awesome. Thanks. And it's always a vibe with you. How good are you in 3D modeling? Just curious. I can make a mess in 3D modeling. I can show you some of the models that I've made, and we'll get around to that. I don't want to do that right now, but part of that is, I'll just explain a little bit that 3D modeling has changed a lot. And when I got started in the games industry, I was really interested in 3D modeling. That was one of the first things that the first thing I was doing was making levels, right, for modding this game. That's kind of how I got into it. And doing modding levels gets you into textures, it gets you into modeling to some degree, because you've got to, at least, well, now definitely, but back in the day it was more rudimentary. You're kind of blocking in rooms, interior shapes, and then you might want to fill that in with some details, but you had a limited budget to be able to do that, polygon budget and everything. So I only did like very small, like minor props and that sort of thing. And then I was interested in doing some characters for that game, for the modding, and I did play a bit with that just on my own. Then, when I started with an internship that was like a texturing modeling type job, and they didn't really care for my modeling very much, but they did like my textures. And so I just thought, like, okay, that's what I'll be doing, is this texturing, painting, sort of hand-painted textures. That was a thing at the time. Well, I'll spare you the whole story, because I've said it before on this stream, and I feel like it would be super boring. Anyway, the gist of that being that I have done a fair amount of modeling in the past, and I would say that it's not really that relevant now. Like, when I got out was when normal maps were just becoming a thing. And I just remember, like, the jobs coming in were more 2D painting jobs, and the 3D modeling was just getting a little bit more complicated and finicky. We didn't have all the tools back then, and so building out your cage and getting everything working with projection was like, it wasn't like astronomical, but like it was more work than it is now. And so anyway, just being that I didn't need to do that kind of work, and it was getting a little more technical, I just stopped doing it. And then I would do it every now and then for like, for the purposes of, personal projects, or like doing a block-in that I could paint from. Definitely did a handful of those, like for Realm of Empires and that sort of thing. But anyway, so a couple years ago I got back into it because the tools have changed. It's way easier, to get your forms, and it's more forgiving too. You can kind of make a mess of things, and so I do. And all that to say that I do some 3D work now, and definitely with the tanks, you'll see. I think those are great. Personally, I know there are issues as far as mesh issues and that sort of thing if I were to bring them into a game. But as far as the design and executing on the design, I'm very pleased with them, and I don't really have any real concerns there. I think my designs get more ambitious. There's nothing too difficult about this. I'm thinking more in terms of the things I would like to be putting out, more kind of procedurally generated stuff that, it's not, I've been out of that wheelhouse long enough that it's like, it's kind of difficult to get back into it, but I see the benefits of it, and so anyway, I'm playing with that kind of stuff now. But there's so far and so deep you can go with really any aspect of this, particularly in 3D and when you get technical with it. So let me, yeah, well, all that talk, let me pull up an example for you. So we can do the tanks. That's pretty straightforward. Let's see, we got some. Where in the world did I put these renders? There we go. So here's the puff tank from Substance. So this is one that I 3D print. It's really just two pieces. So in terms of articulation, it's just got one point. So the turret can rotate around. It's got a key in there so that it locks in. It's not going to fall out unless you put it at just the right angle. Let's see what else we've got for images for this. Some other ones here. This one I set it up, even though this is intended for 3D printing. I set up the paint in Substance Painter for decals because I make custom decals. I got another guy that works with me, Tim Pascalis, helps out with the graphic design type stuff. Just that's his jam. He's good at it. So we'll make these decals, and in order to get them sized correctly and kind of experiment with them, it's a whole lot cheaper to do it here digitally than to like print them at different sizes and try things out, you know. So that's really the driving force behind this model being textured. And I actually have this model, the printed version, right in front of me, and we hand painted it originally, like the physical 3D printed model, and then had these decals done, and just had to go basically off of measurements with calipers and that sort of thing. And so knowing that we want to do more variations and more like canonized decal sets and so forth, I want to get that settled, and so that's what this is for. Let's see some other models. So that's Puff, and then I can look at an untextured version for you. These are cell shaded here. You can get a little bit of an idea. And, you know, talking about bad geometry, you can see it right there. Right inside the cannon, it got decimated, you know, so it's pretty rough in there. So there are areas that I would redo. We'll have to retopologize for any kind of real-time thing. Let's see. That's that one in the barn tank. See, those are older. I don't want to do those because they're not. This one is going to be hard to see. Maybe. We did it. This kind of patches into a style that we have for these kind of black and white blueprints. They're kind of sepia tone with on like a graphite paper. And so we'll put these in there. This one, you know, so I modeled out some of this stuff, you know, the gears and all that. The treads I modeled and made an IMM brush, so you can just kind of drag that out. But really a lot of this is stock IMMs, you know, like just tack that on there, and then you throw this, the hosing on. The greebles inside of here, that's all IMMs, even the hatch and these handles. Did model out these boxes and that sort of thing. You know, it's not very impressive to model out some boxes, but so this would be, and that's the key that I was talking about right there. This would be how it goes in ZBrush. I did those two completely in ZBrush. Then, as we get to some of the later ones, here's another one, Brian. I like Brian. Brian is one of my favorite tanks. Let me pull this up here. So this is the back view. Let's go. There we go. Brian is a depressed office worker tank. And let's pull up one of the renders for him. His character is that he daydreams of being the most awesome tank of all time, Red Brian. And here's a kind of Terminator version of how he sees himself. Yep, there we go. And let's see. Get Pravda. This is a Typewriter Tank. Let's see, there's a couple other. Well, yeah, that one will suffice. Let's get kind of the reactive armor as the keys. And that reference is actually, it's kind of funny because it's it's an older design, so it can get missed in terms of excuse me. We don't use typewriters like that. So then we got Hat Trick. Hat Trick is this was the first one that I did in VR, and you can kind of tell. Part of it's in the geometry. You can tell as you're looking at kind of the faceting and stuff. So that comes from the that VR app, and we could smooth that out, but for 3D printing purposes, it's totally fine. At least at the scale that we print them, they're really small. And then this is actually an older model. Some of that stuff got cleaned up in there, but you can see this is much more like a sketch. I'm like throwing in these kind of lines and then like filling it in, and I feel like this feels more gestural because because that's how it's constructed. Yeah. And so I've been leaning much more that way, designing things in VR and then bringing them into ZBrush. But in terms of modeling, I'm aware of my limitations. I have a lot to learn. A lot has changed. Like I said, some of that's good because it means the tools are easier to work with for me. And then some of that's just more layers of complexity and things that I need to get up to speed with. And ultimately, though, it's all good. All good things. It's probably way too early to do this, but I'm tempted to just come in here and kind of chip this up. Give that a little character. All right, let's we'll throw in a few kind of lines to clarify some forms, and then what we're gonna do is just hit it with an overlay so we can get some of the richness that we're looking for. I'll push some values darker. I'll put that all kind of in shadow there. Maybe just, how do we want that? Is there a way to make this look like it's like a rolled up sleeve or something? That'd be kind of fun. Maybe if it's like kind of gray on that side and then a little fatter. I don't know. Some of these design things, who knows? It might, it might come through and it might just be like a, I don't want to say a dud. I mean, like, it's just, it'll just get missed. It's not really like a important thing that anyone will ever notice. But I do think that the sum total of putting in things that are little jokes and nods and like, you're trying to sell this idea. I think the sum total gets it across, whether or not it's, whether or not the audience can appreciate every little nuance. Some will. At least that's what I have to tell myself to keep going. Okay. Let's get a few more things in here, and then we can... And then we can get on with that overlay layer, which I think will make a difference for us. All right, so a couple things with overlay. One is that you can do lighting with it, but the others we can kind of get some kind of rust and wear effects. We can kind of push the hue, in certain regions. So if I want it to be a little more yellowish over there, maybe whether that's rust or whether that's maybe reflected light or something, we can kind of drop that in, and I think it works nicely to have it be kind of localized, right? So it's not just an overall cast, but like it's a this is actually rust running down this surface, and by localizing it, I think it becomes kind of interesting, and then it also helps sell the form, right? Because we're having it conform and follow the form. That's what conformity is, right? Following. A little redundant. Maybe some of these rivets have them on a little bit. Maybe a little spot up here. Now, if I go too far, then it will have that overall cast, so I gotta be careful. Maybe have that pool up down here at the bottom. Okay, and I'm gonna go with a little more reddish hue. Bring that in. Some of these areas here. I'm not sure how much I like that, so we'll reserve the right to undo. No, I think if I do that, I'll do that with an overlay layer. Or not an overlay. I'm doing overlay right now. I mean a multiply, because multiply will bring that down to like kind of a manageable level. I think right now what it's looking like to me is it's too bright, and if I wanted it's fine for like a shiny metal, but if I wanted it to be a painted surface, then I need to bring it all down in value. but he'd be like drooling. That might be a bit much. So we can use this to push some values in here and get some of those details popping a little more. And I find that if you just put just a little speck of it, it goes a long way. With this, I might bring it a little more. Okay, so we're going to do a separate overlay, and this will just be solely for lighting purposes. Try to bring up this edge, make that all brighter as it comes towards us. Already not a huge fan of that. Maybe if we go a little more blue, so it's got more saturation in there. Because I don't want to nuke that. That color that we've got going on there, because I really like it. In fact, we could go so far as to reverse that relationship and make it. Right now, I'm going to go from a darker as it recedes, and lighter as it comes towards us. Doing the opposite in the shadow region, down here, and that's just to get more contrast. But let's see. I'm kind of interested in reversing that relationship because I think if we have more saturation closer to us, that would be would grab more attention, I think. And if we go too bright, then we lose a lot of the the beauty of that blue, that rich blue that we've got going on there. Yeah, just throwing in some extra contrast just to see if we can push that part closer to us. Just try to get a little bit of a nook. Nah, that's too much. Too much there. So, do I want to describe this form as... So if this is an overhang, then we get a little shadow shape here. I'll bring that back. Let's just do a little tiny wedge. A little triangle, little wedge goes a long way. Alright, so we're going to invert that color, so now we get the brighter color going on. We'll introduce it. I was going to say we'll introduce it in there, but you know what? We already got it in there. You can't introduce something if it's already there. But I think we can bring up some value right here. Gonna increase the kind of drum shape. Maybe brighten up that edge. Let's see. What do we want with that part? Let's see, I think this needs a little bit of that light. I think we need a little catch down here. And down here. That might be too much. I think we can carry this light on through here. Easy, easy does it. I don't know. I'm going to lighten everything up back here so we can kind of push that forward. And maybe we do that again here, just to get like a rim light going on. Double rim. Okay, we might be getting a little bit crazy there. Let's throw in this kind of painted texture type thing here. Just by introducing a multiply. And then we can add a mask of this and just start chopping away at it. Let's see, do we want to just chip this whole? It's real easy to go too far with this, but I think we can get away with some aggressive chipping, especially being that he is more the rugged outdoorsman type. We'll say. Okay, and I think we'll go with another multiply. I'm gonna go with so we got this blue here, so let's bring in another shade of that blue and just kind of deepen this up here. And we will, we can play with this and see what works here, but to see what we get if we push this farther. And do we want to reestablish these darks? Because that's really going to push that dark. I'm going to kind of fade that from one side to the next. So it's going to get most dark up in this corner there. And then these guys. Actually, okay, this is okay, but I'm not thrilled with that particular color of blue, so I'm going to shift it over. We'll maybe go a little more intense. Okay. And I think I'll bring this down so that we can then adjust it with probably like a levels or something, but I want to have that. Let's see. I don't know. I like it. I like it. I think we could add another multiply into this area right here. And we're trying to keep these kind of warm, right? So that whatever we're doing in the blue can kind of pop off of that. And we're just establishing some more contrast in here. Trying to balance these values out a little bit. Just a little bit. That's a qualifier, by the way. I'm only balancing them out a little bit, just in case I do it wrong. That way I can say, well, I was only doing it a little bit. I wasn't going to do it the whole way. Thought I made that pretty clear when I said a little bit. Should that be a smile? I kind of like this being like a cheek, you know, like he's got chew in there or something. That is not an endorsement, by the way. YouTube. It just grieves me that we even have to qualify anything. Qualify these statements. Okay, whatever. I don't like that up here, this has kind of become, it almost to me could look like another eye, you know, like a visor type thing, and I don't like that. So we can get rid of that. If we can just darken that whole side up. It does push it away, so like whenever you shade one area kind of independently of another, you can inadvertently push them apart. You gotta be careful. Like if I want this to appear as it goes straight up into this other shape, then I've actually got to kind of maintain that shadow shape. Or the illusion is broken. All right, we got Adonis in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, we're doing some tanks tonight. Fulfilling my life's calling. Will it tank, man? There's kind of a double meaning there. Will it tank? Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. All right, so now I'm just going to do a new layer. I am going to just paint over this. We'll get our clean up our silhouette, and we can dirty up the silhouette where we want to, if we want to do that. Typically what I do is just try to get these like more direct to okay, direct, let me rephrase that, more in a cohesive, simplified silhouette. So like should be more of a kind of one shape there rather than kind of two broken up. But then some areas you want to leave some ambiguity, and so you can use like something like that, right, where you kind of leave this little kind of wiggle of an edge there. It's not great if you're going to send this to a modeler, but for the purposes of having a design, that feels like it's alive and in motion, that's a great little trick in the two-dimensional output. Should we? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I like more. Having that be more squat. That's fine, I guess. Okay, then we're going to grab some of these values. I'm just going to push this to like a gray. I'll go a little bit brighter. I'm just going to modulate that a little bit. And it will appear. So yeah, to me that almost appears like pinkish in there because of the color contrast going on. We gotta go a little brighter there because it looks like he's got chicken pox. Tank pox. He got the tank pox. Came down with a bad case. Still got tank pox. See, that might be an edge that I would break up. So here, again, we can just use our eraser, to break up what we did in there. Give it a little more variety because we're using that, the rake eraser brush, which gives it like, it lets some things pass through unaffected. And we'll use some of that down in here because this is, it just looks too like boilerplate, shiny metal, and that's not what I want. And maybe I should clean this up just a little bit so he's not a complete slob. I think the connotations of chew and grease running down his face would be perhaps too much. Perhaps. That might have been too much. Clean that up there. I think I want to bring this whole region kind of together. Make it cleaner, like one kind of shape rather than too many jagged, muddy pieces that come together. How can you be jagged and muddy at the same time? What happens? Okay, and he needs something. He's got to have some kind of logo or something up on his hat there. I mean, we could just go with the Unihap. Let me have a look at that. That is filled, right? Yeah, the mouth is filled. Yeah, I don't know. Do one without the other. Just want to darken up that gray without actually, doing anything. Without having to paint it. Okay, now this color, I'm going to do just a new layer. We'll pin that there. And I'm just going to adjust this color because I feel like it's not really shifting in the light the way that I want it to. I think that's already better. Not entirely, but you know. So with a hat like this, and really with any of the paint that's on these guys, the very recesses would probably have the strongest amount because they're just not getting the wear and tear of everything else, you know. And so like here, maybe it looks nicer kind of on this side, and then you kind of push it out away from the brim, then towards the back you maybe get some more wear. You know, maybe this just doesn't have as much there. Yeah, maybe catch a little bit. And then let's go with a brighter color, and we'll start to mix this with the blue a little bit. So we'll put this just on the upward facing points. That might be too pink. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just too saturated. But I just want to allow a little bit of more light to hit that. I don't think we need to go that far. We'll just go more. Probably, we'll just go red, maybe, and just closer to gray. That might just do the trick for us. I'm gonna go dark and saturated. See what we get with that. Okay. It's doing something. All right, and then I think one more thing before we get to our color balance, curves, and all that stuff, is in here in that kind of gray area. I mean, it's definitely turning more yellow. Maybe we'll do it with multiply. I want to tone that a little bit more, so that it's we got some color values that give us information on the scene, on the surrounding scene. And then we'll go with warm, underground, and if we do warm, we might even just do green, even just I suppose it depends on what environment we put this into. But you know what this is making me think of now? I'm finally seeing it. You can't make this stuff up. This is the part where I just throw in the towel. Yeah, we could shift this color over, but I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of how that hat goes. It'd be nice to make it plaid, maybe. But I don't know. You just can't win. All right, so let's go multiply. We'll get our ground value here. All that in there. And then we got this thingamajiggy right there. I have a little bit more, what's the word? It'll blend a little bit more because it's farther off the ground. Same with this guy here. I don't know how I ended up on this brush, but I'm fine with it. Press some button. And that is your impromptu Photoshop tutorial for the day. Oh no, press some button. Something happened. Alright, let's go overlay. Just to increase the insanity a little bit here. You know, I did say we would try flipping the script on this, where we go dark in the foreground, run the area closer to us, and then push it lighter as it goes back. And I think the effect that would give is it'll push this closer to the background because their background's white, and so that'll push that farther away, and then it'll increase the contrast on this edge here. It just depends on whether or not that's actually all that important to us to be that high contrast there. Yeah, I don't know if having that darker is that helpful. You know, if I go light with it, that's just too intense, I think that is better though. Let's smudge that together. Perhaps even accomplish a satisfying transition from light to dark. Okay, let's do our levels and color balance and all that stuff. So go curves. The curves are actually, it looks like a pretty decent distribution there. We might be thinking about how we could separate certain things. So we wanted the blue. I mean, we got the hue shift, but we might kind of localize some of these highlights and stuff. Hmm. I think we'll only go probably halfway with that. Like, I think we do need to get the darks to be dark, extra dark, and then I think we need the light to kind of be separated so that kind of we push our mids in a little bit. But I think it starts to get almost like plastic looking. Go too far with that. All right, and then let's go color balance. Whoops, copy the mask up. And we'll go from there. Hey, we got Morris in the chat. What's occurring? That's a most interesting tank. A hillbilly tank. Yes, 100%. And it also apparently looks a lot like Mario. Didn't occur to me until just recently. But, okay, it is what it is. So the mids, okay, that's, I want to be careful before I play with those too much because the mid, most of this is mid, and it seems to be pushing the overall cast, so it's not really staying in the zone, a nice neat color zone. And what I'm hoping to do with this is get this red a little bit more balanced, and the blue as well. And so I'm thinking that that may end up being a matter of introducing. I don't necessarily think we need to have green and, you know, too much green in there, but enough would push things towards push it away from, you know, the that warm cast that we've got in there, yellows and oranges and stuff. All right, and that is affecting our luminosity, so we need to be careful about that. So let's see if we just go with color. Okay, and that preserves our original luminosity. If we just go with luminosity and leave the old color. All right, let's do color. And then this, we added a lot of noise with this that I'm not sure is really helping with this overlay. Hard to say. I'm kind of tempted to do like the blend if on this. Push it down. I think we're getting to the end here where, you know, I'm pretty well spent on it. But I think what it needs is for some of these areas to be cleaned up. And we can either do that manually, you know, we just like color pick and then go in there and, you know, give those a little more crisp. Let's do another brush. That one's giving me some grief at this scale. It's very, you know, it's got the texture and it doesn't want to work at every, you know. Some areas are omitted in the texture, and so that would not be the optimal brush for this stuff. Right, so just cleaning up these edges, see how we got this kind of blend going on there, you know, which is okay to an extent, but I think we want to have some crisp delineations so that it reads. So we're going to turn this into like a little hatch that opens up here. And maybe these need to go on top like that. Put that blue in the recesses, you know, where we said it wouldn't fade as much, right? So it's staying nice and crispy in there. Crispy. We're just making things up. Saturated. It's not weathered. Clean. Don't know that really needs to be like white there. That goes all the way up to white. I think our what do you call that? You know, that thing. overlay layer is responsible for that. Turning that into a mess. Speaking of a mess, this guy needs like a little ketchup stains and stuff on his overalls. Maybe we'll make that like a little splat. Okay, clean up some of these values here. Blue on that edge. Clean up some of this. This is probably too dark in here even. You know, I like that we've pushed it, you know, try to get that heavy contrast, but you've done too much. You've gone too far, Eric. Do we want this as a separate plate here, or do we want it to be just like painted? You know what I mean? Like right now we've got it as this like actual like overalls that this thing is wearing. But what if it's just painted on? You know, so we just get rid of that lip. I feel like that's a phrase. Get rid of that lip. I've heard about enough. So that way it's just paint. Maybe even just like, you know, scratch through it in a couple areas here. The thing is though, I think I do want that to be modeled. I don't know, it looks cleaner. That's for sure. I do kind of want to model that in though, because these are going to be hand painted different ways, and people will choose to paint them differently, and it would be just a bunch of extra work to you don't have to paint those overalls every time. Alright, let's bump up the value on this guy up here. Let's zoom in a little bit. I want to see the whole image though as I'm doing this. that other eye in there. A little cleaner. And maybe we'll go just a little bit darker with that. Excuse me. So coming back to the chat there, I was going to ask Morris, how are the environment paintings coming along? And you're not allowed to beat yourself up over it. Just be objective. I know that's not that's like a leading question. Don't beat yourself up. But for context, we have been going. Anyone who doesn't know, we've been talking about this outside of the stream. I liked the ideas and the initial sketches for some of those were really nice. I just think where we left it, there's some potential to implement more into your theme. Like you've got like the cellular theme, which I think is one that, I mean, all of these are ones you've done for your characters. And so kind of figuring out, okay, how to get some of those like more subtle motifs and stuff, or maybe even not so subtle. Of course, I was talking about this earlier on this dude. Like there are some things that I'm like trying to put into this character that I don't think will ever be noticed, and that's not to say like, oh, it's so deep and like there's so much coolness going on or whatever, but it's like I think you just need that to keep you moving forward, to have the design like kind of be fleshed out and full enough that you know where to go with it, whenever you have like, I don't know, kind of those questionable or doubt type moments of, is this, am I going the right way with this thing? You've at least got, okay, well, I know what my theme is. I know what things I'm attempting to implement that with. So if it's like the cellular theme, you'll be thinking about different types of cells and anatomy of the cells, or even maybe telescopes, or not telescope, microscope, not telescope. Here we go. Just showing you how much I know. Nothing. But yeah, maybe your microscopes or something could be a theme. Kind of laboratory type equipment might be a theme if it's, if it's relevant. I'm just, whatever, spitballing. But then if you've got that, then you can start weaving that into your elements. And, you keep what works and you discard what doesn't. Anyway, I'm going to look to your actual response. I'm sorry to just, you got me monologuing. They're going well. I inked 3 and we'll probably try to color tonight. We'll post it later. It's your streaming time now. Yeah, I'd love to see those later. Glad to hear you inked them. Yeah, I think that, like we talked earlier, that was one of my realizations, and I don't know if you've got the same experience with doing inking type work. And I mean, like, you could do it digitally, but I'm thinking when I was introduced to like Copic markers, just that process of kind of building up slowly from, your 10%, 30%, whatever your light grays, and just slowly building it up. It made me realize that, like, oh, that I'm like reworking the drawing like 4 or 5 times, and it's getting better every time. So it may just be a matter of like the opportunity to like stew on the image, look at the look at it with fresh eyes, and look at it with the intent of like, all right, I'm doing the next pass on this thing. So what does it need, right? Whereas I feel like when we're just kind of going in the moment, there's a real nice flow, I think, to doing exploratory work. I mean, and kind of like what I'm doing now, like I'm my brain is just kind of off. I'm just kind of like tweaking this thing, sharpening up edges and stuff. And who knows if this is even, I'll have to zoom out and start actually thinking about the design. But I think that process with markers actually really forces you to do that, and that's a good thing. Reevaluate your drawing more frequently, and have the expectation that you're going to make some corrections and changes. Whereas I think we kind of get, I mean, even now, like with this, I'm not really excited to make big sweeping changes. I'm trying to like just detail these things out, and I might zoom out and realize, you know what, those don't work at all. They shouldn't be there, right? But we're just kind of unwilling to make those sacrifices at certain stages. And so anyway, I think going back to it, redrawing, inking, I think that's the ticket. The cat's meow. As soon as I heard it, what is it? Oh. looking at the chat. This may be my sick voice. I do find that when I get sick, my voice deepens, and I have kind of been under the weather recently. Okay. So I went up to Letchworth State Park today, and it was a blast. Did some painting, digital painting at the falls, and I think I will do some more. The weather here in Western New York, like all the trees are just, they're just perfect. It's awesome. The oranges, and yellows, and reds. So gotta get out and enjoy it, capture it, paint it. I don't think it need to paint it, but it's kind of a missed opportunity if you don't. Just seeing the beauty around us, and taking it in a little more slowly. I think that's kind of the beauty of plein air painting. Sometimes you got to work fast, but you're really thinking about what you're seeing, and that's slightly different, I'll say, than just going out in, for a walk and being like, this is cool, you know, not knocking that. It's great to go out and enjoy things, but to pay attention to it is a different ball game. So anyway, I've been out and about and doing that sort of thing. I've been a little bit under the weather, but it's good. See, the thing with that is I've never seen that on a tank. Like I like throwing the rivets on. The rivets actually, tank talk here, pretty rare. They only really showed up in the earliest tanks. You might see them at certain points, certain areas that get bolted on, riveted on, whatever. But you would see it a lot early on because the only companies that dealt with metal at that scale at that time were train companies. And they riveted everything. Welding was not yet a technology that we had in widespread use. And so, rivets it was. But, come around to the Second World War, where tanks really become iconic. That's generally what we think of when we're thinking about tanks. Either that, or maybe more recent tank tech, like the Abrams and that sort of thing, and the T series. What was I saying? Right. So there's more iconic tanks. End up having cast hulls, a lot of them, which means they don't have these, panels that line up that are then riveted together. So as much as it makes it look, metallic, and you have these plates, and you gotta have plates, right? Doesn't exactly work that way. So the suspension of disbelief is, it hangs in the balance precariously. Maybe we'll just make those not rivets. We could put maybe some cutouts in there, though. I don't know. If that's like his neck, then that looks kind of weird, Dad. Just like this hole in it. There's a hole in your neck. Okay. Looking at the chat. It's really made a difference. I'm assuming we're talking about the inking. Really made a difference. I tried a pencil brush and might try some watercolor brushes to color this one in. Yeah, watercolor, and I think you mean digital. You know, a digital representation of a watercolor brush. Um, but yeah, watercolor is one that I need to expand my horizons. Actually, do some watercolor. Figure out how that all works. I tried once, and then one of the guys who works with me on Fantastic Tanks, he came in and he was looking at them, and he was like, "Oh, that's neat. Your kids do these?" He was dead serious. I told him yes. Nah, I'm kidding. No, I owned up to it. They were not my best work. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm starting to catch the bug here. I like this guy. Let's see, what do we need to do in that little recess there? Just blue, maybe? There we go. Just gonna clean up that edge. Do you like that little rim there? Rim light, it's nice. It makes me happy. So, can't be that bad. Yeah, digital. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was curious, because I knew you were working on those digitally. I thought, did you print them out? Which actually is, it's kind of a legitimate way to work sometimes. I've done some concepts digitally, printed them out, and then like just get a fresh take on it. With your different tools and different processes that I think sometimes we just get stuck on what we have done in the past that works, right? And then we're forced to change that sometimes, and those, to me, I think are some of the best kind of breakthrough moments. I have this idea, and I know I've said this before about frustration, right? That frustration is the feeling that you get before you crest the hill or peak the rock climb. It's it is baked into the process. You gotta feel, well, I guess no pain, no gain, right? But there's something, I think, kind of literal about it, that like frustration is you coming to terms with, or rather wrestling with, the feeling that like what you're doing isn't working. You know, that your prescribed path forward is not getting you there. And that means that, well, at least you're on the path to the next iteration in your understanding of how things work and what tools are at your disposal. What's possible. All right, little hillbilly buddy tank. I like this little rusty bit. I think I'll put some right down in there. It will make me. I want to believe that'll make me happy. That might be too much. Too much. Maybe if we just go like right on the edge. I don't even know what this thing is. It's just like this object that he's holding. But he seems like that kind of guy. The kind of guy who would just show up holding objects, you know? What does that even mean? Okay, I want to get that worked out. I feel like that should be perhaps a lower angle on that ellipse. Hmm. I don't know about that. Like adding in this kind of like boiling hot lava, but I kind of like it. Maybe we need to put it around the Unihap logo here so that it's that is a little more punchy. Now I believe this is the same layer. Yeah, it's the same layer we did the Unihap adjustments on, so can't go totally wild knocking that back out, but we'll get rid of most of that. And I think this probably something like that. We'll do it. Maybe this should be more those upward facing planes should be a little lighter. I don't know. Could also potentially handle some of that with these shapes here, because these are a little bit too round. If we flatten them out a little bit, then they'll wrap that form a little better. And then maybe give that a little bit more of an edge there. And figure out how this transitions into here. You know, that would help make this make more sense. Maybe if it tucks right into that corner, then the shape will read more like a brim. And I'm just going to tighten up a few of these areas because I'm using basically the same width brush stroke for a lot of those. I think that can kill the illusion sometimes. You start to see like, oh, those are all those shapes, whether positive, negative, light, or dark, they're all the same thickness. That's wrong. You know, something tells you that. It gets in your head. Okay. I think that's good enough for that guy. So we got Hillbilly Tank. We got these octopus squid tanks, something. Ooh. Excuse me. And all the other options that we never touched. But that's how it goes. I think with this tank, you know, just looking at it like this, I think what I might do is just do this. I'm going to go, we're just going to grab this. And what am I doing? Let's copy this. Control-Shift-C. I'm just going to do a new document. Paste that in. Then I'm thinking we just go well, we can just do a selection. A couple different options here. So we'll do a selection. And with this, we'll grab some of these shadow areas because we don't want to completely lose that. And in fact, why don't we just grab the shadow as well? And we're just going to bring in a background this way. Basically is what I'm getting at. You know how it goes. All right, so we'll do new solid color fill. And let's get ourselves into the zone that this guy's going to be in. And we'll just build everything off of this. We'll pin this down here. In fact, this doesn't need to just be a fill. We can just do multiply with that, so we keep our shadow and everything. And then let's just bring in some elements here and there. It's going to be dusty. We're going to have some sky back there. This really could be like Mario. Yeah. Geez, while we're at it. Some of these. So I worked on a project once where the former head of the company, he was the president of the company. He was one of the stakeholders. I was looking at what I was doing, and I was working on this project. It's a nighttime project. All these the scene was nighttime. All these purples and yellows and a little bit of green in there. It was all very much moody. It had this mood about it. And anyway, he said, yeah, make it look like Mario. People like Mario. Then he walked away. I was left thinking, wait, for real? Yep, for real. That's probably a little, well, I don't know. Actually kind of like what that's doing. All right, so anyway, once you get a scene assembled, then what we can do a new layer. I'm going to bring that mask up. I'm going to invert it. And then we can start bringing in, some of the color. Whoops. I'm still in the mask. All right, we're going to grab that color. Bring in some of the color from the scene that we've started to develop. And then you're integrating it, with bounce light and everything into the scene. So maybe we'll go a little halfsies there. So it's not quite as bright. Should not be as bright. Bring that up. Bouncing off the sides of these things. This will go much darker down there. And basically we're just going to implement that color into the scene, but we're thinking about this in a logical way. We're going, light's coming from the sky, it's bouncing off the ground, it's green once it bounces off the ground, so then it hits the underside of this guy and not anything facing up, okay, or even straight out to the side. We'll leave some of that, and then I'll come in with this eraser, erase away some of that, so that it's not such a pure light, like it's just kind of catching on the textures, the textured edge of this. We'll go here, bring this value up, there, bring that value up, and that value up, and then again we can come in, knock it out a little bit with some texture, Let's grab that sky color, bring this in, like up here, rim of the hat, these top facing planes here. See, so now we're integrating the character into the scene. I don't want to go too far with that because I want the blue of this shirt to pop against the color of the metal. So I'm going to go kind of light on the blue here, and we're going to use it in the shadow area on anything that's kind of facing up. Probably the brim of this hat. Up here, maybe the back side of that, and the edge of the hat there. Yeah, I might even introduce some of it into the metal color here, as that's reflecting the light. All right, so that just starts to integrate things a little bit. And you can push that back, like lower the opacity. But I think it helps. And the other thing you can do too is like if you do blend if, and we just knock out like the very darkest parts. So that way if you've got like a little recessed area, like say in those treads there, then you're going to maintain that detail, those pits. Okay. think the background's kind of silly. We'll go like, if we go halfsies, and I think we'll get this feeling. And I'm gonna go like one up here and do like some yellow, maybe orange, back in here. You get this, I think, this feeling of like super hot summer, sweltering heat. Let's go just light gray here. Get this like dust going up there. Push those clouds up though. I do like the clouds. Can we put a rim on those? That might be too much. Yeah. Could, however, reintroduce the smiley in there. Let's just do darker color. That way, if that light, that white doesn't push it. Okay. It went kind of grim. It looks like Mario turned into a alcoholic war machine. push these the lower portion there a little darker as it's in the shadow. It's funny, you know, I was happy with just how efficient this little barrel was at first. And now it's like I just can't quite get it to be exactly how I want it, you know. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I guess that's alright. Alright, let's zoom back in. I think we're about there. Time to call it. Definitely thinking the metal could be addressed a little bit here. It's just, you know, it goes to white there. Maybe we'll push that back a little bit. I do like some of that yellow popping out, you know. Yeah. Okay. I think we'll stop here. So we got excuse me. These guys. This guy. Maybe. Someday if I'm feeling it, we'll clean this up. Use the lasso tool. Get some sharp edges. But I think this generally works for now. Color balance though. For sure. Let's see. I like the warmth of that, but not so much like right in here, you know. Just gets too powerful. Somewhere in there, maybe. It's funny. I always say this. We end up not far from where we start whenever we start messing with the colors. can get more specific. This is just another way of doing it. If you go into hue, and then you pick your channel, bump that up, and then you just select just the part that you want. I think we're somewhere in there. And there we go. Let's say yellows. We can move this to a different zone, which may be advantageous for us. Just to homogenize the palette. And then our blues. And let's just mask out some of these areas here. I think one thing we could do is go with just maybe curves. Just to get this blue back here looking really rich. And then we'll take this mask here, yep, and then we'll invert it. And then we'll hit our, what do you call this, gradient. Interesting. Turns out I actually just didn't really like that very much. What am I gonna do with you? What do I want to do? That could just probably just be a color. Kind of like the everything being brighter. Yeah, that's not very nice. It makes a real mess right there. Alright, I'm going to do color, and we're just going to do a little bit. Start to blend that in. Then we'll do another version of it that's just luminosity. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it kind of bright like that. I feel like this needs some just insane, color to like ground it all in there. What are you talking about, Eric? You lost your mind. I'm telling you. Those insane colors. They do things. I don't really want to do this, but I feel like this needs to be lightened up here. And in here, this seems to be like it needs to be darkened up. Maybe not so much on the top. It's just there's this recess down in here where the light just should not really be able to get in there. Okay, I think we'll stop it there. All right, so that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining in. And of course, I'm always going to see one more little thing that I want to do, but I think we got to call this. So, all right, thanks for joining in, and have a good night.